Hi everybody, welcome back to The Limit Breakdown, where we break down the latest in TV, movies, and everything going on in entertainment. Today we're going to be giving our thoughts on the latest installment of the DCEU, Black Adam, starring The Rock. Our too long didn't watch take on Black Adam is 3.5 hearts. That means it was a good watch. It was a decent entry. If you're a fan of the DCU, go on and check it out. Stay tuned after our intro for our deep dive into this new entrance in the DCEU.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be reviewing Black Adam, the new entry into the DCEU. So, what do you think of The Rock as Black Adam?
So, is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson going to be the salvation of the DCEU? That was the question we had ahead of us when going into this film, and this film had a lot of expectations. Mm-hmm. And I want to say that my overall reaction was, to quote Linda, I was whelmed. I wasn't overwhelmed. I wasn't underwhelmed. I was simply whelmed. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad movie. I definitely enjoyed it. But it felt like treading very familiar ground with The Rock. I love Dwayne Johnson as a wrestler. He was absolutely my favorite wrestler of all time. He's not particularly what I would consider to be a great actor. He is a great action movie star, which those things are not, synonymous. But, I think that he played the part that he wanted to play. I joked around during the movie that it felt like it could have been a sequel to The Scorpion King. Ancient, powerful being buried in the desert, hidden under some type of relic, being discovered and unleashed, and becoming some type of anti-hero. Yeah. I didn't really know too much about Black Adam to begin with, as far as the DC character. I did do a little bit of research. He has become more of an anti-hero as recently as the newer runs of comics. Mm-hmm. And he does have, so their interpretation wasn't completely off base. I just, he had an edge to him, but I felt like, he killed a lot of people, but it was like nameless evil henchmen. So like there was no he never did anything that stood out to me as being questionable or morally the big thing that identified him as being unworthy or being even quote unquote evil was that he went on a rampage for revenge after his son had been killed, which is like your son just got killed. So like it's understandable. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I mean, it does set up some interesting stakes for the future of the DC Expanded Universe. The fact that they brought back Henry Cavill as Superman, that answered a big question. Warner Brothers had been doing the will we, won't we thing with Henry Cavill as to whether or not he'd come back as Superman. So this leads a little bit more credence to the fact that they might be working on a Man of Steel 2, and the end credit scene, which was the worst kept secret ever. I hadn't really been following Black Adam or any of the news reportings on the movie, but even I had heard that there was supposed to be a Henry Cavill cameo in the movie. So I'm glad that they paid that off. I'm glad that they're pushing that forward as a new direction for the DCEU. Honestly, I feel like they don't need to reboot. I heard several conflicting stories about them wanting to recast Superman, reboot the franchise, and I feel like they're at a point where we're already familiar with these actors, we're already familiar with these characters. Forget about what you did in the past and just focus on writing better stories going forward.
Yeah, I agree. So as far as Black Adam goes, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was a very fun and entertaining movie, right? So it's definitely one of those where you can just turn off your brain and have a good time. It's very entertaining. I enjoyed it. I'm a huge fan of The Rock, as you said. To me, everything that man touches turns to gold. Almost everything. But I thought he did a great job. I enjoyed a lot of aspects of that movie. The only thing, well, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of it, but overall, I think it was entertaining. They had some few issues. As far as the DCEU goes, I agree that they should not be rehashing. What I think DCEU should do is not follow MCU. They should not follow that schematic and that formula and try to make their own MCU. I think DC works better by making individual movies, right? Just concentrate on making one, or just good movies as a whole. If you want to connect them, you can connect them, but don't try to make a universe per se, right? And then in a movie they can try to do a connection, but overall just build the movies.
I will say, particularly in this movie, I appreciated that we didn't get a whole lot of origin mumbo jumbo when it came to the Justice Society. Like they could have spent like a good 40 minutes just introducing the Justice Society.
Yeah.
And would have dragged out the runtime, but no, they are like, hey, this is
this person. This is Adam Smasher. This is how he got his power.
Yeah.
This is Tornado Girl, whatever her actual name is. This is how she got her powers. This is Dr. Fate. This is crazy power.
And so
this is Hawkman. He broods.
Yeah. So I appreciate it. And Ironhawk. I mean Hawkman. But they just introduced them. They came in. They did their thing. So that I appreciated that. I've said in previous videos. I feel like a lot of times the audience doesn't get enough credit to be able to if you're interested enough in getting the backstory to some of these characters, then it's an approach that they've done in comic books for the longest time, where they'll introduce a new character without giving all of their backstory all at once, and then giving you like another TV show or a side film or some other type of material to feed that information to build up to the next one. And that's something that DC could do. Is you save your movies, your tentpole movies for the big character stories and the big story arcs involving multiple characters, and then you could use HBO Max to tell the smaller stories. I felt God, what's the name? Big shiny toilet bowl head.
Dr. Fate?
No, not from this movie. From the Suicide Squad. John Cena.
Oh, Peacemaker.
Peacemaker, yes. Toilet bowl head. Hey, call it like I see him. Anyway, I thought that Peacemaker as a character had a great introduction in Suicide Squad, and then his TV show on HBO Max just tenfold increased the popularity and likability of that character. So it's a formula that they have that even now the MCU is starting to emulate a little bit. So I agree with you. They need to formulate their own path and focus on just creating good storylines. Yeah. Going back more into Black Adam, my biggest gripes with it were the fact, I guess I was too focused on the fact that Black Adam is originally a villain and is more of an anti-hero, less of a hero. And with the casting of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Black Adam, like it's hard not to like The Rock. He's really, really charming. He the little quips and stuff. Oh God, it was almost cringeworthy at the end.
The sarcasm ones.
Oh no, well those were pretty bad too. But when he splits the devil guy in half and is like, "Tell him the man in black sent you."
Yeah. This is a catchphrase first. Then. Yeah, the whole I actually thought that was done very well, because he's like, no, this is stupid, and then as the movie goes on, he's like, he's trying to do his catchphrase, and they're like, no, then they won't know. He's like, catchphrase first, then kill him, or he's like, yes. And it's like, okay, fine. And as the show goes on, because there was another scene where he's like, flying through the city, and he drops a guy, and he's like, tell the man, and by the time that guy hit a bus, and I was like, okay. To get into the nitty gritty of it, here's my few points of why I did not give this movie a 4 or 4.5. Mm-hmm. Too many slow motion scenes.
Oh my god.
Too many. Like I think a few here and there.
Was this executive produced by Zack Snyder?
Yeah.
Like
oh my god. Literally every scene with the
Cyclone.
With Cyclone.
Yeah.
Every scene, it was a slow, and I was like, "There's no need. She's not doing anything." It would make sense if it's slowed down and she's doing something that's faster than the eye can see, and she's doing something very intricate. But no, she was.
I mean, it looked pretty with all the twirling.
It was very pretty, visually pretty. But I'm saying she wasn't doing anything, ecstatic about it. Randomly, every time they would jump and do it, like a jump attack. Mm-hmm. Why? Like it's coming. I think certain ones, it's better if you just let it be full speed or normal speed, because it makes the dynamic better. I thought there were too many slow motion scenes. The other thing that didn't make sense, this is from a comic book perspective. Mm-hmm. The one thing I did not like was, even in the movie actually, they're like, Dr. Fate, when he puts on his helmet, he's in a trance, he's not himself. The whole movie, he's just able to take it off anytime he wants. And he's fighting and he's like, here am I. And I was like, so one, in their own continuity, it made no sense. Yeah. Then he's not in a trance, he's just wearing the helmet for no reason. Yeah. Right. Number two, in the comic books, when he puts on the helmet, he becomes Dr. Fate. So in the comics, what happens is the helmet gives you the power, but the helmet also takes over. It's its own entity. Sword. Yeah, it's its own entity. So you are who you are, but when you wear the helmet, it's its own entity. Mm-hmm. And I felt like that wasn't... That dynamic wasn't there, right?
Yeah, I think it's a casualty of having cast an actor like Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, who did a phenomenal job. Yeah,
no, he did a great job, but you're not gonna hire Pierce Brosnan and then have him spend the majority of the time in a mask. Like that's I think one of those.
They did that to Hayden Christensen in the new Kenobi series.
Yeah, well,
But anyways, I loved The Rock as Black Adam. I thought he was really good. I like him in anything. I did not feel... One, I didn't like Hawkman. Mm-hmm. He just felt like he was brooding the whole time about everything. I'm like, bro, chillax. And then there is no reason for him to go toe-to-toe with Black Adam and not break his neck.
Yeah, that was a bit of a stretch for me. Like, don't get me wrong, Hawkman has done some incredible things in the comics. He's a really, really good hero. He's actually, I think, isn't he one of the core members of the Justice League?
Yeah, from the original, from the comic books, yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, like, him being able to do some badass things is cool with that. But yeah, he should not have been able to go toe to toe. I mean, he got his butt whooped like
hard, especially when they're in the apartment and he would fly at him. He just goes,
yeah.
But the amount of damage he took,
like the fact that he was taking punches left and right,
and just stood up
he
with
was just
no
hanging.
scratch.
Yeah, he was hanging in there. No, he shouldn't have been able to do that.
That made no sense to me. I liked the actress who played Cyclone. I didn't like the character of Cyclone. I felt like it was an unnecessary... They forced her to be in there for no reason. They needed a comic relief, so they added Atom Smasher, who, to me, acted just like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. Actually, even his mask looked just like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool.
Yeah, he was
very similar.
He was a bit. Both Cyclone and Atom Smasher seemed a little bit unnecessary. Yeah, like they were both kind of side quest, not even side quests, but like comic relief characters, because they didn't do anything.
They didn't do anything. They didn't enhance the story. It would have made sense if They were there in the story as they were. And when Dr. Fate is having the conversation with Hawkman, he's like, hey, someone might die.
Yeah.
Right? And then it turns out to be one of them doing a sacrifice. It would have made a world of a difference.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. They were literally just there to be there.
Yeah.
I don't think the story would have been any different had they not been there.
I know in the comics there has been points where Black Adam is part of the Justice Society.
For certain things,
and him and Atom Smasher do have like some type of
bromance
relationship. Yeah, so they kind of alluded to that towards the end of the movie, and I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, no, they really serve very, very little purpose.
Yeah. What did you think about the antagonist?
It's here's my problem when you have two groups of quote unquote good guys, or an anti-hero and a good guy, right? Eventually they're not going to kill each other. They're not going to fight until one of them is gravely injured. So eventually they're going to have to work out their differences, and you're going to have to bring in a disposable big bad. And so, you got this guy, what is it? The Crown of a Knock? And then it's like the literal devil. It's like this guy's supposed to be a bad guy that's kind of not so bad, kind of a good guy. So who can we bring in that's more bad guy than this guy? The literal devil.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things, like compelling villains is something that is a high demand in superhero genre films as a whole. And it's even, that issue is compounded even more so when you have a situation with multiple heroes where they end up fighting at first and then they have to team up. It's like the thing with Batman versus Superman. Like, how do you get Batman and Superman to stop fighting each other? Oh, you bring in Doomsday.
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm glad that they kind of worked it out the way that they did. But again, it just devolved into a giant CGI fight. and like, I don't know about the Crown was just a giant MacGuffin for the majority of the film. And then that MacGuffin turned into a giant CGI boss battle, and it was one of the least compelling parts of the movie. Like,
yeah, I agree.
And like, again, I understand you have to have a climax, has to lead to something, but it was just so generic in every aspect of it. Got to stop him from getting the crown. Oh, couldn't stop him from getting the crown. He was relying on Black Adam to kill him, because they were reading the inscription backwards. Instead of only life can bring you death. It's only death can bring you life. So it's like he was relying on Black Adam to kill him. I don't know. And like I said, it was just... It was meh. Like I said, the film was whelming.
It was whelming.
It was whelming, yeah.
So here's a few things that I did enjoy about the movie. The random killings that Black Adam did.
Oh my god.
And not only the fact that they were just killing, they did it in such a good way. So the scene that I was mentioned earlier, when he's flying, and he's like, let me go. And he's like, you should choose your words carefully. And he lets him go. And as the guy's falling, he gets hit by a truck. Like, as he's falling, I was like, ooh. There was a few other scenes where
there was one where when he initially makes it out of the tomb, when he's fighting that army, that like mercenary army,
yeah,
and he sticks the bomb in the dude's mouth.
Guys,
and then
my god!
You think you're gonna see it, like I was like, oh my god,
yeah.
I saw when he stuck it in his mouth, I was like, oh my god. Then they cut away. It's some more frantic action, and then it comes back. It comes back, and the guy's like taking the bomb out of his mouth, and he's like, "Oh no!"
Oh, crap. Yeah, hilarious scene, hilarious. When he just fries people, just straight up fries them. His opening scene is when he's holding the guy up and he electrocutes him, and you just see the flesh melting off. Here's
my question. I had a little bit of a problem with that scene because he yokes the dude up, right? They did the thing where it was like, oh, I went last time, and the dude, and it was like the guy that got the short straw. So he gets hoisted up, right? they sit there and watch this man's skin get melted off, and it's only after he drops the dead skinless carcass that they start shooting. Like, I'm sorry, if I'm not a mercenary, but I'm gonna tell you this: if I'm in a mercenary type situation and one of my boys gets killed, I'm not gonna wait until his lifeless body hits the ground before I start shooting.
Oh man, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, that just a funny scene. That was a funny scene. There was one more. The other fight scenes I actually thought were really clever. When he's fighting Hawkman in the apartment, and he's just wrecking him. He's like Hawkman Fly. He just turns out of the way, grabs his foot, and just goes, boom! Oh man, fight scenes are. I enjoy that one.
Another big critique, and I'm sorry, guys. Like, look, I'm gonna get slack. Like, I feel like I'm extra critical of this, but bear with me here, okay? My other big critique is you have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, one of the best, the most electrifying man in sports and entertainment. All right, this man can definitely do his own stunts. Like, why wasn't there more like actual choreographed fights with The Rock? But instead of so many, like, I understand he's Black Adam, he's got these godly powers. So yeah, you definitely want to show some of that, but you could have done some actual physical fights and showed them enhanced, give him like his enhanced strength. Because dude, The Rock can do some stunts. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I've seen him throw in a people's elbow and a rock bottom in Fast and the Furious movies. Like, was it too much to ask for a rock bottom? I just wanted to see him lay the smacketh down on some DC on some DC henchmen.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Now that I think about it, you're right. They could have definitely added some stuff in there. With him doing a little bit more, especially at the last fight scene when he fights the devil, since they're supposed to be more or less equally matched.
Yeah.
I could see it then.
Instead, we get CGI.
All CGI. It was entertaining. Man, there was something I was gonna say, and I totally. Oh, the other thing that I enjoyed / had an issue with. I love the fact that they added certain songs in there. When his first battle, he comes out of the tomb, killing the whole army. They started playing Painted Black. Right? Awesome. Great song to play. Right? Black Adam, Painted Black. I felt like a lot of the songs they added, whoever was the audio director didn't know how to mix it. So they're just like, oh, a song goes here, play.
They wasted a lot of money on song rights, but I think that's something that the DC EU does in general. Like, I remember the original Suicide Squad movie. They had that awesome trailer with Bohemian Rhapsody for Suicide Squad, and we love that song. We love Bohemian Rhapsody, and so the way they cut that trailer made it seem like Suicide Squad was going to be this ridiculous movie, and I fell asleep through it. But the soundtrack was great. The first Suicide Squad, yeah.
Yeah, but for this one, I felt like the audio tracks, they're just like, oh, okay, a song goes here, play. They didn't try to add, like, mix it in there, slowly build the... a lot of times it was just like, here's a song, here's the end of the song, stop. Right? Kind of weird. I did like... Now, obviously, reading the comics, I knew the plot twist that was coming. But I still think that they did a good job with the plot twist of, oh, he is not the savior. It was actually his son. Yeah. And he just happened to inherit his powers and become... That's hence why.
I caught a glimpse of Dwayne Johnson's face early on in the flashback when they were showing the young kid, and
I think Amon.
Yeah. And so, he was talking to his dad, and his dad's face was mostly covered in the shadow. And there was a brief second where he turned his head, and you can see The Rock's face a little bit more clearly. That, yeah. And so I was like, it caught me off guard a little bit, because I'm like, wait. And I kind of saw that twist coming. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't read Black Adam like that, so I didn't know that twist was coming. But it was pretty awesome. And then when they showed the Shazam powered version of his son.
Mm-hmm.
It was the actor that plays the Young Rock on the show Young Rock.
Young Rock. The guy who's in Young Rock. Yeah, that's awesome. I thought that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's related to him, right?
Maybe I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought that was very cool.
He's got a big family though. He's got like tons of cousins, so probably.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah, wrapping up, I think it was definitely a good movie. Definitely entertaining, not without its issues. But I think if they can take the good things from that this sets up, like obviously setting up Henry Cavill coming back as Superman, potential Man of Steel 2, and then now it's a more interesting dynamic with Black Adam in the fray of the DCEU. It'd be interesting to see them reframe their stories going forward with Black Adam now in the picture. So I don't know if it saved the DCEU, but it's definitely breathed a little bit more life into it. So
yeah, I agree. It was an entertaining movie overall. I would still recommend watching anyone if they just want to go out and watch it. As far as Henry Cavill goes, I love Henry Cavill. I think he's a great actor. I think he did a great job as Superman. Just because the story writing was not good for Batman vs Superman and Justice League does not mean that he's not a good actor for it. I think he's a great actor for it. I really do hope that we get something in the future that they're both there and they do something good with it. I'll look forward to it and I'll definitely watch it.
All right, thanks guys for tuning in. As always, please continue to support us. Like the video, comment on the video, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so. Trying to continue growing our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. We're available on multiple podcast platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So catch us there or wherever you find it easier. We'll see you guys next time. Hi everybody. We want to thank all of our supporters and viewers out there. As we continue to grow our channel, we want to say thank you for all the love and support and appreciation that we've gotten. We've hit our first milestone of 100 subscribers. Pretty stoked about that. And we did our first giveaway, and we want to keep the ball rolling on that. Our next big milestone is going to be 250. All right, 250 subscribers, and for that, we are going to be giving away this Count Dooku lightsaber. So, however long it takes, when we reach 250 subscribers, we'll put the names of the people that have liked, commented, and subscribed into a randomizer, and we will announce the winner after we've reached those 250 subscribers. So, pretty stoked. We are very excited to continue to have the channel grow. And yeah, so if you want to be entered for a chance to win on any of the following videos, hit like, comment on the video, and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you.